So you guys have some burning questions, so let's get into answering them. First up from Top Hat Studios, how did you come up with the name of your YouTube channel, and how did you come up with your self-mock name? So obviously this is a two-parter question. The channel name is a kind of a name I've had for a while, and it was mostly inspired by Laserbeam, as obviously he said yeet a lot, and as a child it kind of went along with it, and also it's nice because it kind of insinuates a more goofy, fun tone. It's not like a super serious channel, but it's going to be a fun time. And the underscore, I think someone asked, I don't know. The underscore is part of the branding because why not? Anyways, how did I come up with my self mock name? I had to thank Blaze for that because he kind of suggested some things and then eventually I came up with my own thing. But Blaze kind of was the one to push me in that direction. Originally, it was going to be, or he had the suggestion of Yellet, which I really like that name, so I kind of put that to a different character in the story. But yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit. Next up, we have Lego Man 71, who has kind of a two-parter. One, what other BioTuber self-mocks do you plan on making? I have currently made Red, who is technically not a BioTuber, but we'll counter in. Uh, Obviously you, Ultimus, Lego Man. Then we have Blaze, which is Troutix. Lego Swappers, who is Firix. Nadiki for Telux. Who else? We have Tetril for C4, and what's his name? Arkstone. That guy. His self mock. I don't know if it's his self mock anymore, but the mascot character. And then I think we have one or two more. I'm looking at the bucket that is all them over in the distance, and I really can't see any of them because they're all piled on top of each other. And then obviously I've weighed myself. And do I plan on making any more? I don't think I'm going to. I might make one or two more, but probably not. Now, as for how they'll be integrated as characters into the story, or if they're cameos, like Stan Lee in the Marvel movies, R.I.P., he was a bloody legend. I love some of his quotes. Anyways, depends on the character. Tetril and Arkstone's characters, they are not part of the story at all. I just built them for a video that I'm going to be making. I keep needing to do the stop motion animation. I will do it. I promise. I haven't gotten around to it though, but the audio is done. I've given a little sneak peek in another video. If you want to check that out, watch my other videos. You'll find it. I won't tell you which one, but it's somewhere. Anyways, it was a year. Anyways, what was I gonna say? Oh yes, some characters are cameos, basically just for that video. Other ones like Troutix and Telux, as I've mentioned. I didn't do Troutix's video. Troutix did not have a review, but in Telux's video, I mentioned how Troutix and Telux are characters in the story. They're more minor roles. Bellatrix plays a pretty large role in the story. I'm not gonna tell you exactly what. Pterodax. But yeah, so some of them get some really good amounts, some of them don't. On to the next one. Who inspires you to make videos? From Top Hat Studios. How did you get two? That little son of a gun got two. Anyways, who inspires me to make videos? Oh boy. I may have put this in later at the same time. I'm looking. I don't know if I did. But you see, back in the day, there was a guy called Jang Bricks, or sorry, Lego Jang. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of him before. He made a few videos on his Hero Factory mocks. Yeah, I ate those videos up as a kid, and I also used to watch this guy called EvanTube. I don't know, he's a small channel. But yeah, obviously those two are some people I watched a ton as a kid. They were Lego YouTubers. EvanTube's not really a Lego tuber anymore, but at the time he was. And over the years, I've seen other biotubers like WCP, Callan OF, Nick on Planet Ripple, just a whole bunch of them, and I've kind of been inspired to make them. Nick has a good amount of I've been trying to lean a little bit more into his mock review style, while also doing a little bit of the Wombat Combat style too, and obviously my own thing, of course. And then for the animations, I was really inspired by Blaze and Nadiki. Like they're good, two of my good friends. Of course I'm going to be inspired by them. So yeah, on to the next question by Cornflakes. I love that name. Cornflakes 2007. When did you get into Bionicle and how did you find out about and what was your first set? Oh geez, that's a triple loaded one. So when did I get into Bionicle? It's a good question. I don't know. I know I got into Hero Factory back when Breakout was going on because my grandfather kind of spoiled me rotten, but not in a bad way. I got a lot. He gave me a lot of Transformers, and this was during when the movies were out. And he went to the store and he's like, "Well, the small selection they have, there isn't a Transformer that's like I don't have. So he was like, oh, well, what about this new Hero Factory thing? He got me that. Ever since then, I've been hooked. It was Breakout. It was Rockoff Breakout. Such a good one. Man, I love him. Uh, and yeah, because of Rockoff Breakout, I got into Hero Factory. I was actually a smart child. I didn't want any of the heroes from the later ones. I wanted all the Breakout heroes, and I wanted the villains from all the other ones, because I knew the heroes are the same characters. I had the best version of the characters. Why would I want the inferior ones? Although I did get Furno's bike, because I liked Furno's bike. And I also got the dropship, but because I had the heroes, I had the canisters to go with it, so I never built it as a kid, because I was really bad at Technic too. So, yeah, that was a regretful set I didn't get. Anyways, how did I find out about it? Back on Furno's packaging, there was a little thing that said from the makers of Bionicle or whatever. And I'd heard about Bionicle, but I didn't ever get into it till G2 because G1 was canceled by the time I got into Bionicle. Like the original villain sets were on eBay. That's how we got them. So my first set obviously was Rocko from Breakout, and from I think G2, I don't remember, but it was I think Pohatu for the Pohatu Master. And then obviously from Electro, Toa, and Mox, which introduced to Bionicle was your first set. See, I kind of lied about my first Bionicle set. I didn't get it until I think Hero Factory days, but I don't know if they were like family friends or whatever, but they gave me a ton of their old toys, and some of it was Lego, not a ton. One of those happened to be the Sendox V1 or the V3, the yellow speeder bike thing. Yeah, that was my first set, but I didn't know really what it was at the time, and I kind of harvested parts. And I also now have 2 more of them. So I have a total of 3, but they're also all harvested parts. Anyhow, on to the next question. Oh, from get to the point. Oh boy. 3 questions? Jeez, man. It was 1 question. Anyways, what is my least favorite Biotuber? That's not fair. Or Biotuber you dislike for any reason. Well, obviously it's gonna be Nadiki. Nah, I'm kidding. Don't scream at me. I don't want to be kicked across the room again. You know where I live. Please don't hurt me. Anyways, least favorite Biotuber. Okay, I don't really have a least favorite Biotuber, but I do have on the, I'm not a big fan of how Duckbricks, he's kind of a Biotuber, kind of not. I'm not a big fan of how rushed and low quality Duckbricks videos are. They have all this like potential, and then he just kind of, I get it. He's overworked. He has a lot of stuff going on. I respect the man's like dedication and grind to YouTube. I just wish he'd take a breath and work on each video like individually. Spend a little bit more time per rather than quantity over quality. Anyhow, what are your thoughts on the current stage of Biotube? Biotube is popping off right now. Blaze, Nadiki, I think Swappers at one point were all got like hundreds of subscribers all of a sudden. Like I remember when I first like befriended them, which was like a little over a year ago, they were like 300, 400 less than what they have now, which is crazy to me. And yeah, what am I third? But I think Biotube right now is in a really good season. If we can keep up the pace we have, we could maybe theoretically bring back Bionicle, like in our own way. Because there's all these big YouTubers who have heard of Bionicle. If we could get, one of us onto like a big YouTuber stage type of thing, we could definitely, we could bring it to the forefront. And maybe Lego, if there was enough demand, could bring us a G3. I'm making a video, just to give you a little guys of information, I am making a G3 video. It's gonna be a while, but I've currently gotten responses from Nick on Planet Ripple and Stippling. Oh, Play Stippling! I love Play Stippling. I forgot about him. Anyways, Stippling, is currently waiting on responses from him, but we've been discussing it. Kasi, I've asked, he was going to, but then he just wasn't able to, unfortunately. He had expressed interest in it. He just wasn't able to time-wise. So, some decent big people, not a ton. Mostly just smaller people. But it goes into a deep dive. It's not some, like, small, crappy video. Anyways, I got away on a tangent. To his last question, what are your thoughts on the FNAF movie? Oh boy, I have a lot of thoughts on the FNAF movie. So, I think as a Five Nights at Freddy's movie, it was mid. It wasn't bad, wasn't good. As a movie, though, it was really good. I loved the cinematography, the sound design, the acting was phenomenal. Not a big fan of Vanessa's acting, but you can't win every battle. Every other actor, I think, did amazing. It was just Vanessa, just it was hit or miss on some lines. But back onto the topic of being a FNAF movie, I think that it just wasn't scary enough. And I get it; they wanted to go for a little bit more lighthearted of a movie, but I feel that if they added a little bit more horror to it, and cut that goofy fun scene out where they built the fort, I think it would have been a much better movie. Like, for instance, instead of them building the fort, we see through the cameras the I forget the girl's name playing with the animatronics. I think that would have been a much better way because, again, you got to use the cameras more, which I feel the cameras should have been used a little bit more. That's one of my personal pet peeves, is that the cameras were a huge part of the original games, yet they really weren't used a ton in the movie, and I felt that would have been a cool way to do it. Um, yeah. So, all in all, really good movie, mid FNAF movie, although the references, amazing. Loved all the references except for when Afton said, I'll come back, or I'm always come back. I'm blanking. It's really late. I felt that was a little bit. I get it. It was a good line. It just wasn't delivered in a way that I really liked, and it was kind of felt too much like a reference. Also, MatPat did a really good job. Like, I loved that scene so much. Just gonna put that out there. Now, from Carutool, do you have a favorite movie or movie genre or franchise on the topic of movies, interestingly enough? So, favorite movie is Into the Spider-Verse. My second favorite is Across the Spider-Verse. They're both really, really good movies. I love Spider-Man movies, especially the Into the Spider-Verse series. The animation is incredible. Just absolutely phenomenal. And yeah, I love the new renaissance of like animation we're getting. Like the Puss in Boots movie, one of my top 10 movies. Just incredible. I love it so much. I wouldn't know. I don't know if it's top 5, but it's definitely top 10. Yeah, I'm not a big live action guy, by the way. I'm not saying live action movies are bad or anything. They gotten very samey. It feels, and you can't do as much with a live action as you can with animation. So yeah, I got no hate against live action. More of an animation guy. On to the next question from Voltgoober. What are some other franchises you like beside Bionicle you don't get to bring up a lot? Well, funny enough, I'm actually working on a series about Gundam. Not a series, but a video about Gundam. And how you can use different Gundams as inspiration for Bionicle MOCs. Case in point, the MOC right here. I don't know if you can see it. I may have forgotten to put it up there. Anyways, yeah, I love Gundam. I love Transformers. I blanked on the third thing I was going to say. But those two things are something that I guess, again, I had tons of Transformers. Have tons of Transformers. Haven't got rid of them. I'm not that kind of person to throw away my old toys. Probably should do something with them. Anyways. But yeah, I love Transformers. I've recently gotten into Gundam addiction. Full Mechanics Gundam Arrow, by the way. Just an amazing Gundam. Highly recommend it if you want to get it. Please get that one. But yeah, both of them, also all three are action figures, Gundam, Transformers, Bionicle. There's a common theme. And also, and he also asked, are there any bands and artists you like? If so, what are your favorites? Oh, goodness. Blaze, I know what you're going to say. Starset is my favorite. I just love their music. It's really good. It's got a nice blend of hard rock, metal, pop, and it's not like there's not better artists, but I really like how they're unique they are, and I also do have some other bands I like. Okay, Caskets, love Caskets. Oh, nothing. It Starset's clean. There's no swearing or anything. There's a couple songs that are a little less clean, but they're not swearing, which is something that I personally care about. I know some people don't, but I don't like to listen to music that doesn't have language in it. Then you have Caskets, another band. All their from songs from Lost Souls and Lost Souls, and the new one. What's the new one called? Reflections. I just looked it up. Both of those are clean. I love those albums a lot. Their EP that came out before it does have an F-bomb in it, so I kind of haven't listened to that one, and I'm not a big fan of those songs anyways. But yeah, I also like Skillet, which is a Christian band, and I know that kind of flies in the face of some people don't like. I like their music. I'm a Christian personally, so it doesn't, offend me or anything. But yeah. Anyways, Makwasu 105, 1005. Are you a fan of Coley? If yes, do you support any specific team? I am not a big Coley head. I'm not a big sports guy, but I do love Takua's team. Just gotta say, Takua's my boy. Because we all do love going Takua when he gets a goal. Now, Bigos BV, that's a hard name to say, so I'm not even going to try. What is your favorite Bionicle set is his question. And I do also believe that Andre Creator Studios also asked the same question, except he asked one I own. So, Cardass Dragon is probably my favorite Bionicle set in general. It's a really big dragon. I love dragons. And it's a really cool combiner model. It's something that, like, it looks good, even though it's a combiner model. Now, my favorite set that I own, I don't own the Cardass Dragon. I built the Cardass Dragon with parts I had, but my favorite set that I own is probably Maxilos and Spinax. Just, it's got really good posability. It looks really good. It's really impressive. And yeah, I think I'd say that. I'm more of a Mockist guy than a set guy, but yeah. Now, Skylux, Toe of Water, I don't know how to pronounce it, says favorite part to use in a mock build, and I believe Lego or Laptop Eater also has the same question. Favorite part from mocking. I don't have a favorite piece. I have common pieces I use, which are mostly the socket connectors, the ball joints, and some other pieces like that. But I don't have a favorite piece. Because I really can't answer that question. Every mock has a favorite technique I've used, and they all have different pieces that I used in them. Although, which another thing is, I don't like pigeonholing myself into having a favorite piece, because if you think of yourself as, if you think of a part as being your favorite, you're gonna want to use it more. And I'd rather want to, like, pretend I don't have a favorite, because then I'm always going to be trying to use new techniques. And when you're trying to use new techniques, you're always going to be trying to innovate and expand. So, it's just a logical way of thinking. Now, Kirk Music says the biggest question of them all: what are your thoughts on Bionicle G2? So, as I said previously, I didn't get into Bionicle G1 originally. I was a Hero Factory boy. So, when Bionicle G2 came out, at that point I knew what Bionicle G1 was. I've heard of it. Jangbricks taught me about it, like all that. I've seen it through Jangbricks, and I personally have a lot of thoughts on G2. So, set wise, I think G2 was absolutely phenomenal. They did amazing on the sets. There were some areas where, it could have done a little bit more work with some of them, and how far back the torsos went in the Masters wasn't my favorite. But all in all, the posability, the gear functions, everything about them is just really, really good. I love the colors. The masks are really nice for Masters. Not the biggest fan of the Uniters masks, but I kind of get they were going for more a Nuva aesthetic, where it's kind of mutated and different. I just feel like it could have been done a little better. Akimu, the Trans Blue Akimu, one of the best G2 sets, I think. Toa size sets. Although the Tahoe Uniter with the Flying Beast is just really, really good. Is it a Kier? I don't know. That might be a stippling thing. Then I also think, yeah, I know it's not Bionicle G2, but I will say the best contraction set is probably Grievous. And I really wish Umarak was more Grievous style and not, or Umarak the Destroyer, and not the Abomination that he ended up being. Or, I'm sorry, I'm thinking the Combiner one. The Combiner one is just an atrocious model. Don't ever bother with the Combiner for Umarak. The Umarak Destroyer is not the greatest. It's not bad, it's not the greatest. I love the Hunter version more, though. Which, sadly, I never had the Hunter version. I had the Destroyer version. And, yeah. Anyhow, story-wise for G2. Story-wise, it was atrocious. It was a dumbed-down version of G1, but they dumbed it down in the wrong aspects. They really just... They could have done so much more with it, and I feel it was just wasted potential. Kind of like... I have very similar thoughts to Crystallized for Ninjago. Wasted potential. Sums it up, pretty much. Yeah, on to the next question, though. From Gustavo HOF. Oh boy, this guy. The plague of the bionic biotubers. He's there on every single comment section from what I can tell. And he comments every single time. So I had to answer this question. Just out of principle. Do you plan on adding any new characters to your story? I mean, even though it's a pretty dumb question. Because, like, the story is... The story is not finished, and there's always going to be new characters if it's an unfinished story. But I don't know exactly what you're getting at, because you don't know the story, so you don't really know who's going to be added. So yeah, let's just say there's a lot of characters. Season 1 alone has like 20 something, and then season 2 is complete new cast almost. So, and season 3 and season 4 it's much the same. Although season 4 is a similar cast to season 3, but yeah. Oh boy, a lot of characters. Now on to Go Gokaku Otaku. Otaku! Where can I read the story of Raxon and his friends? It's not finished yet, and it's not going to be done for a while, and it's not going to be readable. It is going to be watchable, because the plan is to do a 4-season 3D animated show. I know, that's going to be a lot of work, but I know that. And I'm going into that knowing it's going to be a lot of work, and it's going to be probably really expensive, and it's probably going to take a long time. So don't expect the story out to be any soon. Also, it's not really a story about Raxon. You see, a lot of biotubers make their story about their self-mock, and I get that. I don't want my story to be about my self-mock. It's not about me. It's about how the world is. I'm a world builder. I don't want to have a story on one singular character. Why do you think that there's 4 seasons that have a 100-year gap in between 3 of them? It's not a singular story, one character. I mean, technically, there's one character throughout 3 of them, or 4 of them. Well, 3.5. But it's not his story. He's just a major player in the story. But yeah, Vraxon does appear in the story, briefly. He is a character that has a role in it too. But I'm not going to reveal it too much more, because I'm trying to keep the later seasons more secretive, unless I'm more talking to my inner circle. Also, on a related note, have you ever written any content for the CWW? I have not. And I don't know if I ever will. I may, though. Depends. How did you get the idea? Oh, Derpy Gobbleogles asks, how did you get the idea for Raxon design for both new and old mocks? So, I think you were referring to Matoran Vraxon, but interestingly enough, there was a Toa Vraxon originally. I never finished him, and I needed his parts, so he ended up getting scrapped. I have not finished Toa Vraxon. I have not started Toa Vraxon. There is a Hunter Vraxon, but there is no Toa Vraxon yet. So Toa Vraxon actually came from a Ben Costley torso that I believe Kaiser uses in his self-mock. And I don't have a picture of Vraxon's. I have one picture of Vraxon's old version, and it is in a weird file format that I can't figure out how to convert. Also, I lost the file. I don't know where it went. Anyways, back onto Matoran versions, which you're probably expecting. The Matoran version, the original one, was a WCP design. I believe it was Matoro's. It may have been one of the other Toa, or not Toa, other Matoran, but I can't remember. And I actually designed it, or designed the Toa Vraxon for a roleplay that I was doing with Blaze and a few others. And I needed a self-mock character, so I made him. And yeah, that's how Blaze was the kind of the guy who came up with the name. Anyways, when he came up with the name, he was the inspiration for the name. But yeah, for that roleplay, that was how Vraxon came into existence. Because I had an original self-mock before that. He was a Hero Factor character, though. Because again, Hero Factor was my jam. Anyways, back to the Matoran. The Matoran one was a WCP, the Mator guy. And I wasn't really happy with the fact it was a not original design. And I wanted my self-mock to be my own design. So I started kind of playing around with different shaping and parts. Because again, I wanted to be the Matoran version I was making. And I just, after a lot of trial and error, I kind of got something that worked. And I don't really know exactly how I came up with the idea for his torso and everything. It kind of happened. So his was more just my own, not in an arrogant or way, but like my own genius, I guess you could say. But yeah, the original was WCP though. So credit goes to Adam. Oh, and Lego Swappers put a tiny bit of help with doing the elbows for that, but unrelated. Now, Andrew HM1SP asks, what is the oldest mock you still keep? I'm assuming he meant still have, but that's a tough one, because I go through mocks very quickly. Like, very rarely does a mock stay around for more than a month. It's just the cycle of life here. But I think the oldest mock I still have is debatable. Looking around my room, I can see 3 potential candidates. 4. And I don't know which one was the oldest. I have a Rocca design. I can look at this into this, but I don't really want to. I have a Rocca design that is pretty old, but I think it was the newest of the ones. Um, I have a no, it is definitely the newest. I have a Matoro Mauve that's also using a WCP design. The green character with the wings. It's an Angel Matoro essentially, and that I don't know if it was built before or after the guy who appears in the "You stole my guitar" video. No, it was built before. It was built before. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong on that, but I know that I built it before that video existed because Matoro and Vraxon did not exist when the Matoro Angel was built. Because the Angel Matoro was originally going to be the one that used in the Blaze RP that Blaze was like, hey, no official characters, make your own character. So I begrudgingly made Vraxon. Best decision of my life. Thank you, Blaze. But then I also have Nadiki from the Fandom contest. So I can't remember which one was in existence first. I think it was Matoro, though. May have been. But yeah. Next up from that dumb brunette. Where did you get most of your Legos? You know, you little rat. Why are you asking that question from me? Just P.S. That's my coworker, so I can call them a rat all I want. Anyways, up from Red, a good old friend of mine. If I'm wrong about my theories with your Vraxon review video, what can you say that will point me in the right direction? You get no hints, Miss Red. Kagai, I can't say that. Um, Next up from Blaze Bionic. Oh, speak the devil. Oh, I hate that guy. Nah, I'm kidding. Do you still take pictures of me in a sleep, or have you moved on to another victim? Another one from Red. Oh, couple people really thought they could get away with asking 2 questions here. Not a big fan of that. Anyways, also this is the last question. And she asks, what are your thoughts on the GeoBots Lego fan theme? Never heard of it. I don't know what kind of thing you're talking about. I'm sure it's a pretty cool idea, but GeoBots? Dumb name. I don't really care about it. Or if I even know what I'm thinking of. Anyways, that is all for this video. Holy crap, it's been a long one. I hope you have enjoyed it and also stick around to the end. We'll watch another one of the episodes or something. But yeah, if you are here, still here, you're a true homie. Also, just a little bit of info. So, some of you guys may have known this. I had a podcast with Red and another couple friends of mine, and that kind of got canned. I'm not going to get into why, but I'm going to start a new one up. And yeah, I don't know the name of it yet, but this is going to be the first episode-ish, kind of. Episode 00. But yeah, so if you like the background in this, that's probably going to be the background for it. So if you have any ideas or suggestions, leave that in the comment below. And yeah, hope you watch another video. I don't have a specific suggestion or anything. So I'm just going to leave YouTube to recommend whatever you think it's just best for you. Anyways, I hope you have a good day, and see ya.